Today, we're ranking almost of the best cards in NBA 2K23 MyTeam. So let's just get into it. The webcam is just going to be for this intro, and then for the rest, I'm not going to have it because there's way too many cards, and the webcam's just going to get in the way. So let's get into it. So for the first set of cards that we got here is obviously starting off with our hard pass tier, where we got, the stinkies, and I didn't want to include too many. Obviously, this is the best cards tier list, so we're not going to do anything that's like insane. So we got Michael Jordan, Carlos Boozer, Zion Williamson, Zach LaVine, Wilt Chamberlain, Steve Kerr, and Shaq. All these cards are kind of just I mean, MJ, decent, but there's better versions of him. Carlos Boozer, I just don't see why. Zion, if you really want an undersized slashing power forward, you can do that. It's nothing crazy. We got some better cards that we got to talk about. The next, we have in the still decent tier, Robert Parrish, Reggie Lewis, Michael Jordan, Klay Thompson, Fred Jones, Frank Ntilikina, Drazen Petrovic, Clint Capella, Bill Cartwright, Xavier McDaniel, Tony Kukoc, and Tim Hardaway. So the main reason for a lot of these guys is Robert Parrish is the back to the basket big that I'm just not really too impressed with. Reggie Lewis is a good all-around sapphire, but he is just a good all-around sapphire. He's nothing else special. Michael Jordan is obviously better than the Ruby. He's a great slasher, but just lacking a three-point shot that even his pink diamond and diamond have a little bit. Klay Thompson, just all right. He's a nice 3-and-D catch and shoot kind of guy, but nothing crazy. Fred Jones, I just personally don't like the jumper, and I don't even think that he's that good as a slasher, which that's supposed to be his like key to success. It is nothing crazy. Frank Ntilikina, just a decent sapphire that you get. Drazen Petrovic is a great shooter. Clint Capella, great pick and roll guy that plays some defense. He gets a lot of boards. Bill Cartwright, actually really good for a sapphire and has a money mid-range for a guy his size, but nothing crazy. Xavier McDaniel just doesn't have a jumper that I like and lacks a lot in that three-point shooting. So he's kind of just like a mid-range and defensive kind of guy, which I'm not really too excited about. Tony Kukoc, I actually kind of like this Tony Kukoc card. I'm not gonna lie. I actually do think he is a pretty fire card. He's nothing that's like out of this world, but he is really good just because he's a tall, kind of good shooting big, but his defense is And then Tim Hardaway is very undersized, and that's kind of just like the main crux that I think we have with him. He's good at everything, but he's just undersized. Then we have Shaquille O'Neal as the last card out here because Sapphire Shaq is a very good card, but just not next level, not top tier. He's just, he's all right, and he's going to get some buckets for you just in the paint, but it's kind of it. Then we can start off our pretty damn solid tier. This is going to be a long one. We're starting off with Rashard Lewis, Jalen Duren, Paul Pierce, Mark Williams, Julius Randle, Jordan Poole, John Stockton, John Havlicek, Joakim Noah, Jerry West, Jeremy Lin, and Jamal Crawford. So Rashard Lewis is a pretty tall, can space the floor kind of, I guess, taller shooter. Which is a pretty good all-around card, but does not really jumper that I love and just doesn't do anything insane. He's just all right. Jalen Duren is another one of those like athletic, play defense, get boards, and finish at the rim kind of centers. If that's what you like, you can go ahead with Jalen, but there are some better options out there. Paul Pierce just has too slow of a jumper despite being a good shooter to really warrant anything. Is a better slasher than you would think, though. Mark Williams is another one of those Jalen Duren kind of guys, but just not as athletic, but is definitely, in my opinion, a bit better on the defensive end because he's 7'2", just a little bit taller, helps him be a little bit better. But again, that's purely my opinion. Julius Randle is a all-around power forward, like literally just gives you a little bit of everything if you want a little bit of everything. But I will say that jumper is a little bit suspect sometimes. Jordan Poole, an all-around offensive option with just defense, but a cool jumper, although sometimes it can be a little bit load-uppy, which is obviously not ideal for most people. John Stockton, for some reason, doesn't come with clamps. It's so frustrating because I feel like this John Stockton could actually be a crazy good free amethyst you just get from collector level, but that lack of clamps kind of hurts him. His jumper is really fast, though, and he's obviously a great playmaker and can't dunk, but is really good at everything else. We got John Havlicek, who's probably the most disappointing domination reward. He's like the pink diamond that you should get for overall, and he's kind of like half the reason that I haven't continued playing domination because he's just all around. It's just like it's a meh card that you're getting for grinding all those games. Joakim Noah is a great at everything besides shooting, unless you're talking about the mid-range kind of center. Especially on the defensive end, he is amazing, but the jumper is also pretty bad, so I just don't even think. He has that Fred Jones jumper, so I don't think you're really going to be too killer from the midi. So in my opinion, it's just all-around average. Next, we do have Jerry West, and I love this Jerry West. Jerry is actually my backup point guard, and for most of the time, actually sometimes my starter if I don't feel like using Steph, because his defense is amazing, his playmaking is godly, his finishing is admittedly pretty bad, but he's just an all-around option. His shooting with his really fast jumper are absolutely money. The only thing that I don't absolutely love about Jerry is his dribble style. It's definitely not the greatest, but he's still an all-around really fun card. Next is Jeremy Lin, a card that I actually feel like could be a lot better than I might be giving him credit for, because it's a PG coming with gold anchor, which if you didn't know, that's the badge that is essentially, it's Intimidator and Rim Protector mixed together. Now, obviously, he doesn't have a high interior or block, which is why I'm a bit iffy on it, but it could help him play some better defense in the paint. So it's at least something to look at, but it's still all around pretty damn solid card out of Jeremy Lin. And then we got Jamal Crawford, who's kind of like Jordan Poole, where it's all about his playmaking, his finishing, his shooting, and not really anything on the defensive end. Then we have another little section here where we have Horace Grant, Elton Brand, Dominique Wilkins, Dirk Nowitzki, Darren Williams, DeAndre Jordan, Alonzo Mourning, Brandon Jennings, Bill Russell, Allen Iverson, Andrea Bargnani, and Andre Drummond. A pretty decent set of cards. Horace Grant is kind of like a Bill Cartwright, just a little bit better, has a better midi, has slightly better defense, slightly better stats. Obviously, he's an amethyst, so has slightly better stats, but still pretty good card. Nothing insane, but pretty good all-around card. Then we got my man Elton Brand. Elton Brand is another one of those like back to the basket kind of guys. It did get a bit of a 3-point. It's in like the 65s and has a really money midi, but just all around, I wasn't insanely impressed with him. Dominique Wilkins just has a really bad motion and really bad dribble style, so it kind of hurts the card, and his jumper's a little bit although it is very fast, but obviously he's just a really good slasher. I just think there's better options. Dirk Nowitzki has a good jumper, but it is insanely slow and doesn't really help on the defensive end, and he himself is insanely slow, so I just think that there's, again, better options as a stretch big that you could have that don't involve Dirk. Darren Williams, yeah, probably one of the most hated cards in recent times. I don't think he's as bad as some people are saying. Like, he is not bottom of the dirt card, but he's definitely not top tiered. DeAndre Jordan, similar to Jalen Duren, where you just have a very athletic, play defense and dunk the hell out of the ball kind of center, if that's what you're looking for. He is probably one of the best examples of it that you got, but I'm still putting him in the middle because he's okay. Alonzo Mourning, all around great, but as the Shaq jumper, so even though he has a 3-point shot and a midi, you're not really going to be able to use it too well, so it kind of defeats the purpose. Brandon Jennings, another one of those all offense, no defense, but doesn't have the exact playmaking that I would hope for him. Bill Russell, I just think there's so many guys who are good defensively as a big man, like all the versions of Wilt Chamberlain, that it just doesn't really warrant the grind that you have to do for Wilt yet, or for Bill. Yes, he is good, but I just don't think that he's insane, and he's, in my opinion, a little bit overhyped. Then we got Allen Iverson, undersized, obviously, but an absolute beast. I love his jumper. He's super fun to use, and he has the Allen Iverson spin jumper, which is one of the most broken moves in my team right now that I don't see anybody talking about. It is super fun. It's super easy to use. Yes, he's undersized, but I still think you can have yourself a pretty good time with Allen Iverson. So give him a little bit more love than he's getting now. Next, Andrea Bargnani. Now, he's another one of those stretch bigs and does have a bit faster of a jumper, which obviously can help him, but not really the greatest defense. His post game and inside set, so nothing crazy. And then we got Andre Drummond, another one of those back to the basket kind of bigs who finishes and rebounds and all that sort of stuff. But again, like I've said, there's so many of them that we got to separate them somehow. And then we have our third page for the pretty damn solid, which just has Tyson Chandler, another one of those guys. Not really the greatest when it comes to finishing, but Tyson arguably has some of the best, if not the best, defense in the game as a big man. So that's definitely a reason to at least consider having him on your team, because that defense is cracked out of Tyson Chandler. Next, Baby Damon Sayers, Rudy Gobert, Robert Horry, Jeremy Sohan, Pascal Siakam, Nicholas Batum, Mitch Richmond, Michael Jordan, Marcus Smart, Lamar Odom, Vince Carter, Kevin Love, and Karl Malone. A pretty, again, really solid set of cards here. Starting off with Rudy Gobert, I just think that Rudy has that longer wingspan and just plays better, at least in my opinion, when it comes to that back to the basket, just finish and play defense kind of role, and that's why I have him ranked higher than some of the other guys. I just had more fun with him, and I think Rudy Gobert is... we got to show Rudy love, because he's actually pretty decent this year, and I feel like it's rare. Next, Robert Horry, probably the best, or if not the best, one of the best budget amethysts in my team right now. The dude's 6'10" at the small forward position, which is already unreal in itself. Can do literally anything that you need him to. He's just an all-around great card. And Jeremy Sohan has a slow jumper, but does have the ability to knock it down. Has a nice midi, has insane defense, and he's like 6'8", 6'9" at the small forward. I think he's definitely a slept on, but very, very good option for the 3. Next, Pascal Pascal Siakam, probably one of my favorite guys to use out there just because he has that all-around game and has a great jumper. If you need somebody to do something, a little bit of everything, Pascal's your guy, especially at the 4. Nicholas Batum, again, one of those jack-of-all-trades kind of guys. Lacks a little bit in the finishing, but all around still really good. Mitch Richmond, just money from the 3 and just good at getting buckets, if that's what you want. Come on, it's your guy. Then we got Michael Jordan. Obviously, we all kind of know what MJ does. This diamond does actually get a decent bit of a 3-point boost to him, which is obviously a massive help. And if that's what you're looking for, a great slasher with great defense that can kind of shoot the 3, MJ's your guy. Marcus Smart does have a slow jumper, but probably the best offensive guard in the entire game, and that's really his calling card. Super fun to use. Lamar Odom, 6'10", can do everything. Doesn't have the greatest defensive badges, but everything else on him is absolutely elite. Vince Carter has a money jumper and is an absolutely insane slasher, but when I went against him, he just didn't really jump out to me as, like, I don't know, next level. I've played him a few times, and it's never really done anything, and maybe that's because people weren't forcing it with him, but I just haven't been massively impressed. Some people may disagree with that, but that's okay. Then we got Kevin Love. Kevin Love, probably my favorite pick and pop guy in the entire game because that jumper is just insane. I mean, there isn't really a time where I don't feel like I can just launch it up with Kevin Love. I also think he has either bronze or silver range, which is absolutely insane. And he's a great post guy as well. Rebounding is great. His defense just sometimes is meh. And then Karl Malone, I think one of the most expensive cards in the game because there's some like lock-in glitch to get the Jaylen Brown. But all around, Karl Malone is still just a good jack of all trades power forward that most people are going to want on their team. Next, we got our next page of Baby Demon, which has Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Jason Richardson, Grant Hill, Elgin Baylor, Zach LaVine, Danny Green, Chris Mullin, Brandon Ingram, Andre Karolinko, Ben Wallace, Baron Davis, and Ochai Agbaji. So, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, great card. I mean, the guy is insanely slow, but has a better jumper than Dirk, has a better post game than Dirk, and has better defense than Dirk, and sets better screens than Dirk. So he is just better than Dirk. Just is slightly slower. But I mean, the difference between a 47 speed and a 60 speed really is not all that much in 2K23. So I don't think it's like the biggest deal. Jason Richardson, again, one of those guys who's going to shoot a bunch of threes, but is a great slasher. I just wish they didn't give him that normal dribble style and normal like raw motion style because it really just kind of ruins what he could be in the game. Grant Hill, oh my god, this guy could be disgusting, but just cursed with all bronze badges. If you pick up this Grant Hill and just take every single one of his badges, badge it up yourself up to gold, he is insane. It's just not quite worth it. Elgin Baylor, great all-around card, has a good jumper, has good defense, good playmaking, good finishing, good shoot. He's just all around good. And I mean, that's kind of what you want out of a card, right? Zach LaVine has his jumper on quick, has a great dribble style, has great dribbling moves, and is just money. His jumper can be a little bit load-uppy and a little bit slow sometimes, but I think all around it is just money to have Zach LaVine on your team. Then we got Danny Green, probably the 3-and-D monster in the game. If you want somebody who is just going to run around, shoot threes, and play defense for you, he is literally your best option. Like literally your best option. Absolutely insane. Has a great jumper, has great defense. He is going to lack severely on the finishing, so just be aware of that, although you probably know it when you're picking up Danny, but that's just what you're looking at. Chris Mullin, this card's insane. He has a money jumper, he moves well, he dribbles pretty decently, and he's got some pretty solid defense. One of the more, I guess, not used cards in the game because you have to lock in to get him, but absolutely amazing. Brandon Ingram, I mean, it's a 6'7" small forward that does literally everything that you need him to do, and especially on the offensive end. Sometimes the defense can be a little bit lackluster, but you kind of expect that of Brandon Ingram, but still money. Andre Karolinko, just the best defensive card sometimes in the game. I think he's got Hall of Fame clamps and just feels crazy. His jumper can be okay sometimes, and it kind of hurts sometimes. His shooting and his finishing is definitely not it, but the defense is for sure there. Ben Wallace, I think we all kind of know what he does at this point. The guy doesn't score much unless it's a dunk, but damn, that defense is good. And then we got my man Baron Davis, who is essentially another version of Damian Lillard, just a little bit worse, although that defense is cracked and he has some crazy good finishing. Baron is an all-around beast, and I honestly maybe should have put him in the Demon Stare. And then last but not least is Ochai Agbaji, who is just a slightly slower shooting version of Danny Green, but definitely has better finishing and better playmaking in my opinion. So it's kind of like a pick your poison, but remember the jumper is definitely faster on Danny, so keep that in mind. And then we have one more in the Baby Demons here over here, which is Scotty Barnes, just another one of those jack of all trades kind of guys, has a little bit of everything. Shooting is a little bit lackluster, but when he's got defense, playmaking, and finishing the way he does, I don't really feel like it matters too much. Now, we can start it off with our final tier, the Demons tier, where we got Rip Hamilton, Pau Gasol, Michael Jordan, Michael Finley, Larry Johnson, Kevin McHale, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Wilt Chamberlain, Ja Morant, Gordon Hayward, and Donovan Mitchell. A lot of Eastern Conference players in there. So starting off with Rip Hamilton, another one of those 3-and-D cards, arguably the best in the game, just because he's got a great jumper and great defense. And that's all you need to be a great 3-and-D card. Actually can dribble it a little bit, and his finishing is a lot better than you may think it is, but go Rip Hamilton. Pau Gasol, probably the best, most versatile big in the entire game because he has great shooting, great defense. He has really solid speed, amazing playmaking. He's good in the post, and he can finish really well. I think for a just kind of do it all big, Pau Gasol's great. Honestly, one of my favorites, if not one of the best. Then we got Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is probably a top 5 to 10 card in the game, maybe higher than that, because he's got a decent enough jumper, although sometimes it's a little slow. But his defense is crazy. His finishing is insane, and from the mid-range, he is money with a great leaner, all around great. Michael Finley, just a really good 6'8" shooting guard. Last year he was like a John Wall clone. He's a little bit different this year, but he's just all around great, especially when it comes to just having the ability to shoot over everybody. I think is really great, and having a shooting guard that is that size, I think is severely underrated at this point in the game right now. Next, we got the main man, Larry Johnson. So Larry Johnson, another one of those collector level cards, but my God, is he just literally insane all around. And he has that small forward position, which I think really helps him because usually he's got like a power forward center sometimes throughout the year, and it's terrible. But this Larry Johnson, absolute beast. Next, Kevin McHale, another one of those. I think he's probably the most versatile big in the entire game because he can shoot the ball. He has insane defense, like Hall of Fame anchor, silver clamp, like all around just amazing defense. Has great playmaking. He can finish too and has a great post game. Kevin McHale is a beast. Jason Tatum, I kind of view him as a 3-and-D monster, but he still has the ability to like take the ball, put it on deck, and just take it to the rim and finish insanely well. So I definitely want to sleep on that part. Jason Tatum, he's a beast, but insanely expensive. Jaylen Brown, I mean, honestly, I think Jaylen's the best shooting guard in the entire game. He has a crazy smooth jumper. He has amazing finishing, and his defense is just godly. He's a beast, man. He's a beast. The best back to the basket big right here, Pink Diamond Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, Pink Diamond Will is going to send you packing with your lunch money all the way back, and then is going to absolutely jam on your forehead as if he didn't even care. I mean, the guy is crazy good. Now, he's not going to be shooting in the slightest, and, some people that may hurt it, but who cares? Ja Morant, one of the slickest, fastest, smoothest cards in the game, has a great and insanely fast jumper, dribbles really well too. All around, he is one of the best PGs in the entire game because paint defense is broken and Ja abuses the hell out of it. Gordon Hayward, my most versatile card, my favorite card in the game right now. His jumper I literally do not miss with, and then he grabs every single rebound like he is Zion right now, which I just find unbelievable. His finishing is insane. He's dunking over everybody, finishing layups that he shouldn't, and then even comes with like gold clamps, challenger, interceptor, menace, things like that. It is unreal. Donovan Mitchell, one of the, again, shiftiest PGs in the game. He is 6'1". For some people, that definitely hurts it, but he has a great, super fast jumper, has solid enough defense, although he doesn't come with clamps, but you can add it, and he's a great finisher, along with that, like, obviously great, playmaking and shooting. Can be one of the best cards, I think, just in the game for most people. Just, not the easiest to get because he was one of the takeover cards. Next, we got the Demons here continuing with Zion Williamson, Damian Lillard, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony, Blake Griffin, Arvydas Sabonis, Andre Iguodala, Paolo Banchero, Dang, Jaden Ivey, Jabari Smith, and Benedict Mathurin. This is where you're starting to see some of the wonderful, what is those? The shades of cards start to come in because these cards are crazy. But we're starting off with Zion. Zion has Hall of Fame bully, so he literally just throws people out of the way when he goes to the paint. Still a great shooter, rebounds everything that he should, and is an all-around great defender. Wish he could play the small forward, but he's still a great card. Damian Lillard, just like Baron Davis, absolutely shifty, and if you need a bucket, Damian Lillard is going to provide you a bucket. The Lillard dribble style, to some people can be weird, but I think it's perfectly fine. Chris Bosh, if you need a big, again, that can stretch the floor and just be great, you got him. He can shoot, he can play make a little bit. He's got some solid enough defense, and his rebounding is great, and even an awesome post game. Got to give it up to Chris Bosh. Carmelo Anthony has arguably the fastest jumper in the entire game right now. Has really good dribbling, like the Michael Jordan dribble style, which most park people are using right now because it's just cracked, honestly. All around amazing. Carmelo Anthony is just, he's beautiful. Blake Griffin is one of those guys who, if you just want to jam on everybody like you're asking for rent money, he's got it for you, man. I mean, 98 standing and driving dunk, crazy good Hall of Fame badges in finishing, and even has great rebounding in the defense. Obviously lackluster on Blake, but it doesn't really matter because he can even shoot as well. Arvydas Sabonis, just amazing. 7'2", I'm pretty sure, has some of the best playmaking in the entire game, and he's a center, can shoot the lights out with the ball, and is insane in the post and rebounding. I think has Hall of Fame brick wall as well. Arguably the best center in the game right now. Andre Iguodala is just a slashing demon who is going to lock you up as well, and then can also shoot it amazing with a great jumper. All around a beast that most people should be wanting on their team. If you had the opportunity to get him, you definitely should have. Paolo Banchero is similar to Blake Griffin. Doesn't have as much finishing, but what he lacks in finishing, he completely makes up for with insane shooting and an absolutely money jumper. So you gotta love that. Asume Dang. Oh my god, 6'10" at the small forward. The guy can shoot it okay. It's not great. His mid-range is money though, and then has the best playmaking I've seen on a small forward right now, with insane defense, a great post game, great finishing. This guy is a walking triple-double, and you don't even need to shoot the ball with him. It is unreal. Watch my gameplay if you haven't on him. The guy is absolutely cracked. Jaden Ivey is just another version of like John Morant or Derrick Rose. Absolutely amazing, super shifty, super quick player that's going to get to the basket, dunk, finish, whatever you need him to do. It can still kind of shoot it a bit. Jabari Smith, an all-around, another version of like Apollo Banchero. I think he's a bit better finishing, but slightly worse like rebounding, but has some solid defense, and he's all around super fun. And then Benedict Mathurin probably has my favorite jumper in my team right now, aside from maybe Gordon Hayward and his Benedict Mathurin jumper. Probably one of the easiest cards to green with in the entire game. I literally cannot miss with Benedict Mathurin, and it is so fun to use. And he also has great slashing in his defense. It's also pretty solid. And then last but not least, we have the Demon Streak continuing with Victor Oladipo, Steph Curry, Sean Kemp, Scottie Pippen, and Russell Westbrook. Obviously, Victor Oladipo is just one of those jack of all trades kind of shooting guards we have right now. He has a great jumper, he has great defense, great playmaking, and great shooting, and I already said shooting, finishing. He's just one of those guys who you want as your secondary ball handler because he can do everything in a pinch if you need it. Steph Curry, the primary ball handler of all primary ball handlers, even has bronze clamps if you need it, as arguably the best jumper just overall in the game right now. In his Steph Curry jumper, still has the Curry slide, which is super fun to whip out if you need it. It's just great. If you want somebody to three-point hunt, he's the best card of the game for it right now. Sean Kemp got a massive buff, and now is just a slashing demon. He's dunking over everybody. He can even shoot a little bit. His rebounding is great, and his defense inside is also amazing. Then we got Scottie Pippen, who is the best card in my team right now. The guy can just do everything, and for some reason, they gave Scottie one of the best jumpers in the game. I've looked throughout the My Career stuff because I've been playing it quite a bit, and Scottie is a crazy good jumper this year. I have no idea why they did it, but they did it. And then we got Russell Westbrook, who is going to be that guy who is just going to, like John Morant, slash to the basket, dunk on everybody, do whatever the hell he wants, rebound it, play defense, whatever you need him to do. Westbrook's got it. One of the best PGs in the game, if not the best. So that wraps it up for our best cards tier list. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. I'll show you page 1, page 2, and page 3. Make sure you check all the pages before you come and where's this card and whatnot. Like the video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you new. Hope you've great your day, and I will see you in the next video.